Come all the way down. I imagine most of you are quite warm already, so we won't worry about getting too warm. I think we'll be there pretty early on. Take a big roll of the shoulders and just drop them down. Take one more big roll and then just drop them down. Turn the palms face up and soften the grip in the palms. Just let the seat bones sink down without trying to force them down. Just allow the weight of the seat, of the spine, of the shoulders, everything to sink down for a moment. And then once you have that feeling of going down and grounding, I want you to hold half of that. So anchor half of that weight down and then lift the other half. So lift the spine, lift the shoulders, draw them back, lift the chest. And just notice that slight shift in your energy, feeling of lightness, pulling in around the waist, supporting around the lower back. Keep the eyes closed. Just rest your right hand out to the side and reach the left arm up to the sky. So you all know what you're doing. Just take a side bend over, but with the eyes closed, so you're not distracted by what's going on the screen or what's going on around you. And just feel how that side body stretches. Where do you feel it? Is it through the shoulder, the side of the waist, through the rib cage? Take a big inhale. And then a nice slow transition to the other side. So as you come through center, just notice the difference from side to side. Move slow, left hand down, right arm up, and then a side bend over to the left. Feel that stretch through the right side. Maybe one side is considerably tighter than the other side. You might need to take an extra breath or two on this side, or it might feel easier, softer. And keep the eyes closed. Just go once more each side. So not such a long hold, but see if you can find a longer, bigger stretch. And then up and over. Take it to the other side. And then still keeping the eyes closed if you can. Just place the hands onto the knees. Inhale, lift the chest. Eyes are closed, but imagine you're looking up to the ceiling. And then exhale, round through the spine. Pull the waist in and curl through the back. Inhale, lifting the chest, squeezing the shoulders back. And exhale, arch and round, waist pulls in. Two more. Inhale, squeezing the shoulders back and down, opening the chest. Exhale, arch and round. Last one. And arch and round. Now see if you can keep the eyes closed. Transition into all fours. So you'll have to just think about the space you're in. Settle all fours. Neutral position through the spine. Pull in around the waist. And then tuck the toes and just hover. So still, eyes closed, not visually distracted by what's going on around. Pull the waist in. As I say, you're probably already quite warm, but feel a bit more heat building inside the body. Push down through the hands. It's okay if it starts to feel hard through the arms, through the thighs. Go a little longer for 3, 2, and then 1 back into downward facing dog. Pedal through the feet. If you like, you can open the eyes or keep them closed and see if you can just stay in the body rather than looking out and seeing what's going on around. Just really notice how the backs of the legs feel from both sides. So they might be a little bit different. Have a good walk around on the feet. Just check the feet feel okay. Mobilize through the soles of the feet and all 10 toes. Take one big breath in through the nose. Big sigh out through the mouth. Big breath in through the nose. Big sigh out through the mouth. Roll your body forwards to a plank position. one straight line in that plank. And I want you to bend your elbows and lower the body down in that straight line. So the whole body touches the floor at the same time, the knees, the hips, the chest. Then point the toes, legs are squeezing together. Lift the chest by drawing the shoulders back. Gaze to the top of the yoga mat. Notice the height. See if you can lift the hands, but hold the height for 3. Using the back muscles for 2. And 1, hands down, rest. Tuck your toes and take back into downward facing dog. So hips are high, heels are long, back of the neck is relaxed. Big in breath and big out breath. Roll it forwards again. That's slow, that's strong, nice and steady down to the floor. Don't let one part of the body drop first. Control that descent. And then legs squeeze together. Chest lifts by squeezing the shoulders back, engaging the back muscles. Squeeze your glutes, lift your feet, and then lift your hands. So you're balancing on the belly and the front of the body. We spend most of our day a little bit rounded forwards. So really use this opportunity to extend back. 3. Squeeze the glutes, engage the inner thighs. 2. And 1, rest it down. Toes tuck. Take it back into downward facing dog. Relax the back of the head. Big inhale and a big exhale. Bend your knees so soft your belly touches the thighs, and then walk the legs in. Keep them that soft, so you really are dropping the body weight forwards and almost resting the body weight on the thighs. So a little bit like a child's pose, if you imagine, in the way you rest between or on the thighs. Relax the weight of the head. Just loosen the jaw a little from side to side. Nice and soft around the eyes. And then push into the feet. Pull in around the waist and slowly roll up. Navel draws in. Take your time. Really super slow. Coming all the way up to standing, reach the arms to the sky. Fingers interlace, fist reaches up to the ceiling. Take a side bend to the right, so really open through the left side. Try and push your hips to the left. So as you're reaching to the right, you push to the left. Inhale through center. Scratch the ceiling. There's obviously the walls are white. There's so many red marks where I've scratched my nails all over the walls. Looks like a kind of graffiti. And then bring it back up to center. Fold it forwards, let the body come down over the thighs. Hands touch the floor and step back into downward facing dog. Take your right leg up to the sky. Just give that right ankle a roll around. Take the pressure off the right ankle joint. Maybe you point and flex the toes. Just have a good wriggle around. Loads of pressure and compression through that foot all day. So just enjoy kind of free movement in the ankle. And then bring the right knee in. Step the right foot forwards. Rest the back knee down. Bring your hands on that front thigh. And we're going to try and stretch the ankle joint. So lean your weight as far forwards as you can. So we're trying to take that knee further forwards in the ankle. You might have to bring the back knee in a little so you can go further forwards. And the limiting factor, you're trying to keep that right heel down. The limiting factor will probably be your Achilles, probably be the back of your ankle. 3, 2, 1. Come back, so you might need to take the left knee back and reach the arms to the sky. And then slowly move forwards into that left hip again. And you can still let that right knee go a bit further forwards than it maybe usually would, but you don't have to. You can stay here if you like. Just wherever you are, think about tucking the tailbone and pulling in through the waist so that we're not dropping forwards, we're moving forwards. And then both hands come down. Bring your right hand inside, tuck the back toes, lift that back knee off the floor, and just rock forwards and back. So pushing off your back toes, rock forwards and back. Kind of opening up through the front of the hips and the thighs, and then rest there. Still back knee off the floor. Reach your hands to the top of the yoga mat. So now more of a challenge through that left thigh. Look down to the ground. Pull the waist in. Hold that for 3, 2, and 1. Rest your back knee. Walk the hands back and straighten your right leg. So you might want to creep the right foot forwards. Pull the toes back to the face. So you can see that right leg is nice and straight. And I'm trying not to send my hips any further back, so they stay over the left knee. Now close your eyes and think about whether you've shifted your weight to the left. I want you to bring your weight back to the middle of the yoga mat. And you'll see it's probably quite hard to hold it there. Really engage the front of the right thigh. So you're lifting that quadricep, the big muscle on the front of the right thigh. Try and make that bulge. Maybe you can reach the fingertips a bit further forwards. Pull in through the waist. See if that helps you come further forwards. If you engage and draw navel to spine, then have you got a bit more space to reach forwards? And then bring the hands back so they're underneath the face. Take the left hand out to the side. State you can't see there, but I'm on fingertips rather than a flat hand. So you're on fingertips. Reach your right arm up to the sky. Try and spiral your chest open to the right side of the room. And then just like we did through the right foot, roll that right ankle. Sorry, that's not your ankle. Your right wrist. Mobilize that wrist around. Give it a good move. Wriggle. Maybe clench a fist and then spread the fingers wide. Clench a fist and then spread the fingers wide. Bring that right hand down. Take your right knee next to the left knee. Close the eyes. Tuck your toes downward facing and see how that feels. Maybe notice a difference around the hips or the stretch through the backs of the legs. Take your left leg high and then just roll around in that left ankle. Maybe point and flex. Maybe crunch up the toes and then stretch the toes out. And then bring that left knee in. Step the left foot forwards. Rest your back knee down. First of all, bring the hands on that thigh and move forwards. So you're really loading that ankle. You're trying to find the stretch into the back of the heel. If you can't feel it, bring that right knee a little further forwards so that you can move further forwards and keep that left heel pushing down. 3, 2, 1, and then come back. You might need to take your right knee a bit further back, reach the arms up to the sky. And then the waist pulls in and we're moving into that right hip again. Big breath. And exhale. Big breath in. And breathe out. Hands come down inside of the left foot. Tuck your back toes and lift that back knee off the floor so it's active, the stretch through that right thigh. You're just going to rock, kind of rock or pivot forwards and back. As you do so, lengthen the heel away and forwards, really lengthening through that right thigh. And then find stillness. Waist pulls in. Reach your hands to the top of the mat and look down to the ground. Pull in through the front of the body. So you're trying to make space between the belly button and the floor. And then slowly rest your back knee down. Walk the hands closer and straighten your left leg. So you might need to take the toes a bit further forwards. Just be careful, because if you don't wriggle them forwards, what sometimes happens is when you straighten, you sink back. You see, you close that knee down. So you might need to lengthen it a bit further forwards. And then you're trying to push that left heel into your mats. Push and then pull, almost like you could, you scoop up the yoga mat because you're pulling so much through the back of that left leg. Pull the waist in as well, and then reach the fingertips forwards. Look to your right knee. Close your eyes and think about whether you're over to the right or you're in the middle. Do you feel like you're balanced between the left and the right? Walking the hands back underneath the face. Take your right fingertips, so you've got, you're doming the hand off the floor, and reach that left arm up to the sky. Open through the chest, and then roll that left wrist. Just give the left wrist a bit of a break. Rolling, or maybe clenching and then stretching, clenching, stretching, your choice. And then bring that left hand down. Take the left knee back next to the right knee. And instead of being flat on the hands, you're going to come to both fingertips. So you've now got more length beneath the arms. Inhale, open the chest, look forwards, cat-cow. Exhale, arch and round. Use that extra space to really pull in and lift through the back of the shoulders. Inhale, forwards, open. Maybe bend the elbows slightly when you look forwards. Exhale, big round. Make that movement as spacious as you can. Inhale. And exhale. One more big breath. And exhale. Place the hands down. Tuck the toes and stretch back into downward facing dog. Lift onto the balls of the feet. So your heels are off the floor as high as they can be. And then stretch the heels away as you exhale. So inhale to the balls of the feet. Exhale, stretch the heels away. Big breath into the balls. And big breath out, heels down. Look to the hands. Step your right foot forwards. Keep the back knee lifted. Inhale, reach the arms up to the sky. So high lunge, soften a little in that back knee. So think about at the start when we were seated, we had half of our weight pushing down and half of it lifting back up. So you're trying to divide yourself in two. So weight down through the lower body, through the feet, really anchoring into the floor, and then really lifting through the upper body. Big breath to lift. And then exhale to ground down. Big breath to lift. Exhale to ground down. One more big breath. Exhale. Right arm forwards, left arm back, warrior two. So your left toes turn out and there's a bend in that right knee. Arms are wide. Think about that right knee slightly drawing out. Don't let it fall in. Pull that right knee out so you work the outside of that right hip even harder. Take your right hand down and hold the inside of the ankle. So you can almost push down and take that left arm overhead. So almost pushing down into the ankle and reaching up and away through those left fingertips. As you push down into the right hand, you might also be able to push the right knee to the right side of the room so you get a deeper inner thigh stretch. And then lift back up. Straighten both legs. Turn the right toes in. Hands up to the sky. Big inhale. Dive the body forwards as you exhale. Legs are strong, thighs are lifting. So front of the thighs bulging. Crown of the head pulls down to the floor. So now you have the pull down through the crown of the head and the feet, and the lift up through the hips. So can you lift the hips higher? Let the backs of the legs stretch. And take your hands to the lower back, interlace your fingers. For some of you, that might be plenty to hold your hands there. If you want, you can reach the knuckles up to the sky. So as you try and pull the crown of the head down, you're lifting the hands up to the ceiling. If that's too much, just soften the elbows and have the hands interlaced near the back. We're here for 3. Push the feet down more, lift the hips more. 2 and 1. Slowly, hands come down to the floor. Walk your hands to the top of the mat. Go into downward facing dog. I'm going to go the other way just so I can see you better on this side. So your hands are at the top, downward facing dog. Take a big breath in and a big breath out. Roll the spine forwards to a plank position. Rest the knees and then bend the elbows. Don't drop the chest until you've bent the elbows as much as you can. Come all the way down. Then point the toes. Lift the chest by squeezing the glutes, drawing the shoulders back. And then if you have the space, directly out to the side with the arms. If you don't, reach them back. So you're trying to pull your fingertips back. Lift the chest higher. Squeeze the glutes more. And then rest that down to the floor. Toes tuck. And take it back into downward facing dog. Big inhale. Nice long exhale. Give yourself a bit of time here. Pushing into the hands, pulling up through the hips. Pushing down through the heels, pulling in through the waist. And then look to the hands. Step your left foot forwards. Keep the back knee lifted. Inhale, rise up. Lift your arms to the sky. Soften that back knee. So half of your weight pushes down, half of your weight pulls up. As you inhale, you can exaggerate the lift. And then as you exhale, maybe exaggerate that grounding down. Inhale, lift. And then exhale down. Inhale, lift. Exhale down. And then hold it somewhere nicely between the two, where you can feel yourself lifting up and you can feel yourself pushing down. Left arm forwards, right arm back. Warrior 2. So turn the right toes out, bend into that left knee, not letting it fall in, but pulling that left knee out. Big breath. And exhale. Left hand reaches for the inside of the left ankle. So this elbow, I'm almost pushing it back. Reach your right arm up and over. Push down into your left hand. Pull up through the right fingertips. Bend more into that left knee. Should be intense on the inner left thigh. 3, 2, 1. Rise all the way up. Straighten that left leg. Bring the left toes in. Arms reach up to the sky. And then exhale, fold forwards. Hold opposite elbows. And just let the body weight come forwards and down. Just drop the body weight forwards. As the body weight pours forwards, the hips lift slightly higher. If your elbows touch the floor, just close the gap between the feet slightly so that you actually have somewhere to go. You have somewhere to lengthen to. Relax the back of the head and the neck. In fact, try and make the neck longer. More traction, more space. And then your hands walk back to the top of your yoga mats. Step back into downward facing dog. Take a big breath in, big breath out. Take your knees wide, toes point back and touch. Stretch your hips all the way back to your heels. Rest the forehead into a child's pose. If the forehead doesn't quite touch the floor, bring the hands in, make a tower. And if that's too much, you can always rest onto the hands with the elbows down, depending how easy it is for you to bring the forehead down. It's a lot of knee flexion, so if you have really tight knees, it can be quite hard to get all the way down. Big breaths here, so stay there in your child's pose, really utilizing big breaths to expand through the chest and to lengthen the lower back. Breathing deep. And using that exhale to soften and widen across the shoulders, to melt the shoulder blades wider, to take the tension out of the top of the shoulders, to lengthen back. And as you breathe into the belly as well, you get this massage through the tummy, through the digestive system. Go for 3 more deep breaths. Make them count, so nice and big. Go for 1 more. And then rise to all fours. Tuck the toes, pull the waist in, close the eyes, and slowly lift back into downward facing dog. See if you can make it longer. Reach the hips higher, push the hands further down. Really lengthen. Use all that space you just created through the lower back. Take a big breath in and a big breath out. Walk your feet towards your hands. Come into a forward fold and just relax the body weight forwards and down. Rolling up through standing. Take your time. Pull in around the waist, curling up through the center of the body. And then as you rise to stand, just bring your hands to the outside edge of the rib cage. Take a big breath in. Feel the rib cage expand. And a big breath out. Almost push it back down and in. 2 more. So this big breath. Find this outward, sideways expansion. And then exhale down and in. Last one, big breath. And exhale. And then reach your arms up to the sky, keeping your arms and your ears in line. So try not to let the hands come forwards or arch them too far back. Transfer your weight to the left leg. Lean the body forwards. Keep the hands reaching up and away. So it might mean you don't go quite as far forwards as your normal warrior 3. But I want you to really find length forwards through the fingertips. Maybe you notice it's a bit harder to lift through the back of the shoulders, reaching the right leg back. Hold that for 3, 2, and 1. Long step to the back of the mat. Rest your right knee down to the floor. Point the right toes. Rest the left forearm on the left thigh and a big side bend stretch to the left. So you really do open that right side of the body. From there, look up to the ceiling and more of a stretch through the front of the right hip, the right thigh, into the side of the waist. And then lift back up. Come forwards with both hands. And either stay on hands. If you can, come down to elbows and forearms. And you're just allowing the body to soften down into that space. If you're happy, passive here, you can keep that back knee down. If you want a bit more, you want a bit more strength, you can tuck those back toes and lift
The right knee off the floor. You have had plenty of strength though, so if you want to keep that back knee rested, just concentrate on how much can you let the body weight come forwards. How much can you let go of that urge to kind of resist gravity and hold yourself up. Just pour the body weight forwards into the forearms and the elbows, into that left foot. Take a big inhale and a big exhale. Rise up to your hands. And then bring your left hand outside of your left foot, tuck the back toes, lift the back knee off the floor. Think about this. Try and step forwards in one step. So pull the waist in, slight push off the back foot and pull the foot next to the left. And then roll up to standing. Doesn't matter if it didn't happen, but just nice to think about moving. Sometimes the simple transitions between, you can build a bit of strength. Take the arms up to the sky. Lift nice and tall. Pull in through the waist. Half of the weight pushing down, half of the weight lifting up. So there's no tension in the lower back, and then the left foot lifts off the floor, pivot forwards at the hips, hinging. So you're reaching forwards and stretching back as far as you can back through the left foot. Reach back, stretch forwards, lengthen through the middle of the body, and then long step back, light. Inhale. Exhale, rest. That back knee down to the floor. Point the back toes, right elbow on the right thigh, big side bend, stretch. And then typically we're tempted to look down, but open the chest up to the ceiling. So you don't have to crease or stress the back of the neck. If it is too much, don't worry about the gaze, but just really think about opening that left side of the rib cage. 3, 2, 1. Bring it forwards, hands to the floor. And then not just hands, but if you can, come to elbows. And as I said, you can stay with that back knee down, but if you did lift it on the other side and you want to lift that back knee off the floor, you can. You're very welcome to keep it rested. Well, you're very welcome to do whatever you want all the way throughout practice, but especially now. You just pour the body weight forwards. Shoulders soften. As much as you're coming forwards into the elbows and the forearms, maybe think about pushing down into that right foot as well. Notice how that changes if you push into the right foot. Notice the intensity around the hip. 3, 2, 1. Rise back up to your hands and then left hand, left side of the mat. So right hand has to come outside of the right thigh, the right foot, sorry. Tuck the back toes. Think about the transition. So pull in through the waist, one big step, and lightly bring the feet together. Roll up to standing. And then reach the arms up to the sky. Wriggle your feet together so the inner thighs are really strong and engaged. And as you do that, really squeeze through the back of the glutes, the hips. Lift your hands up to the sky and maybe lift the chest. So you take a slight back bend, doesn't have to be much of a back bend at all, but just lift the arms up and back. Feel the chest open, you're squeezing through the inner thighs. And then come back to standing and just rest the arms down by the side. And now notice that space through the front of the shoulders. Can you keep lifting through the crown of the head? Can you keep as much energy lifting up as when the arms are lifted overhead? So just because the arms are down, can you still lift any pressure, any stress away from the lower back? And then just widen the feet, a bit wider than hip width maybe. chin to chest, roll the spine forwards. So pull the waist in, curl down through the spine, knees can bend and soften, slowly coming forwards. Lots of space through the back of the body, length through the back of the thighs, relaxing down. You want to bend the knees so that there's at least touch of the fingertips to the floor. And then from there, big inhale, reach your right arm up to the sky. Your right leg might straighten a little at the same time, or that might be a bit too much through the hamstring, you decide. But there is certainly a nice deep bend in the left knee. And then bring your right hand down. Nice deep bend in the right knee. Lift your left leg. No, not your left leg up to the sky, your left arm. It's been a long day. And then slowly bring it down. Pull the waist in. Little challenge. We've done this a few times. Lift your hands. See if you can sit down without using the hands. So slowly come down. Doesn't matter if you fall. Soles of the feet together. Hold on to the front of the ankles. Lift through the spine. Push the seat bone down. Push the knees out to the side. Can you lift the spine taller? And then pull yourself forward. So really stretch the body forwards. And your hands can reach out in front of you. First of all, you can walk the fingers away. So that's a real active reach. I want you to stretch them as far as you can take them. And then they'll probably come back quite considerably because I want you to relax all the effort out of the arms. And let the forearms and the elbows touch your yoga mat or the ground. Let your head fall forward. Big breath. If you have a block, for some of you, your head may well touch your feet and you can kind of drop your weight forwards there. If not, because that is quite far down. I used to really like putting my forehead on a block. I found it quite a nice way to be able to rest into it, but that might not be for everyone. You can decide. Almost feeling like I can, without straining the back of the neck, I can also almost let the weight of my head pour forwards into that block. Three. Two. One. And then slowly come up. Just take that block out to the side. Sweep your hands around the outside of the thighs. Bring them together. Feet planted, space behind the thighs. Reach underneath and hold opposite elbows. So you have this bind. And what we're going to do is we're going to straighten the legs out. When you get there, you're going to try and pull back. So you see, this is me in nice and close. I've got the bind, but I'm trying to separate my shoulder blades. In fact, you can even try it there. So before we straighten the legs, hold the elbows and then pull back. So you're looking in to your waist. And you feel that stretch come across the back. Chin tucks in. Should be quite intense. It's going to pull all the way around the shoulder blades, maybe even down into the lower back. It'll depend. It will find where you're tight. Okay, let that go. Take your hands behind you. We'll just do the opposite and open. So feet push down to the floor. Push into your hands and lift your hips. Relax the head or gaze to the knees. 3, 2, 1. Rest. And then you're going to take the hands under, hold opposite elbows and shimmy your hips back. For some of you, if I just take my hands out, you can see some of you might still have quite a gap there. Some of you might go all the way down. Doesn't matter wherever you go to. You find your limit, your stretch through the backs of the legs. And then just for 2 breaths, chin into the chest and pull. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And then let that go. Reach up into a seated position. Roll the spine up. Take the arms out to the side. Cactus the arms. So almost pull your chest upright. Pull the shoulders back. And then exhale, reach all the way forwards into a fold. And just settle here. So relax through the legs. Relax forward through the upper body. I say the word relax. I mean, I know it's really not that relaxing for most of you. So rewind and ignore the word relax, because I know this forward fold can be, it can feel awkward, not relaxing. So that's a very not appropriate word. But just stick with it for 3. Use the exhale. Maybe you can soften a little. 2. 1. Then slowly roll up. Plant your feet, come forward so you're a bit more in the top half of your yoga mat. Reach the arms out. Pull the spine into your mat. So you're rolling down. Arms stay up towards the sky. Shoulders aren't lifted though. Pull your shoulders down. Hands face towards the knees and bring your shins so they're parallel to the floor. Pull your waist in, so don't let it stick out. Pull in, and you're going to take your left arm back as you tap your right toes down. Go really slow. If you think you're going slow, slow it down more. Bring it back. Your left toes tap as your right arm goes overhead. And bring it back. If you find it's too stressful on your lower back, or maybe your lower back clicks and moves a little, then don't go as far, just go halfway. Find that tension, it's there, and then bring it back. It doesn't have to be full big movement, it can just be halfway. And then bring it back. Go once more each side. Last one. Keep the arms there, plant the feet down. Take the arms back overhead. So shoulders are very much open, chest feels lifted. Tuck your tailbone under and roll the hips up off the floor. Lift the hips. One straight line from your shoulders to your hips to your knees. Pull the belly in and squeeze the glutes to lift the hips. Pull the belly in, squeeze the glutes to lift your hips. And roll the spine down. As you do that, let the arms roll down by the side, all the way down. Rest your hands, rest your hips, let the knees rest in and touch. Bring the hands on the belly, take a full inhale and a full exhale. Full inhale and a full exhale. And then lift both legs up towards the sky, stretching the toes up. And then the knees might need to bend. Pull the toes back to the face like the feet are flat and you could rest something on the feet. Take the arms out wide. And then imagine someone placing a heavy weight on the feet. And there's this weight that goes down the backs of the legs and it almost pulls the hips and the tailbone into the ground. And then that weight down through the tailbone travels down the spine, pushing the spine into the floor. Backs of the shoulder blades are spread out. They can push down into the ground as well. And allow there to be a lightness through the feet. Now the feet can relax. They don't need to be in that pulled back shape. They don't need to be flat. We've taken the weight off the feet and brought it down the backs of the legs. So we can create this lightness in the feet, in the knees. Notice the space across the collarbones, the chest and the shoulders. Take 3 big breaths all the way in, all the way out. You've got 2 more there, all the way in, all the way out, all the way in, all the way out. And then slowly just take one leg down. So choose, I don't mind which side, long, slow, stretch that leg to the floor. Try not to drop the leg. And then take the other one slowly down. Pull the waist in as you take that leg down. And then stretch them so they're not touching, they're spread out at the bottom of your yoga mat. Arms can stay really nice and wide. If you would rather bring them in closer to the body, then you can. I always find it really nice to stretch out, but you decide what feels good for you. Make sure the toes are turned out to the side so the feet are fully relaxed. Knees are relaxed, hips are relaxed. And just find an easy breath. If you can, roll your tongue. So if you can curl the tongue up from the sides, so you almost make a tunnel. You can breathe in and out through that tunnel. If you can't roll your tongue, just almost like you're making a whistling shape. Breathe in and out through that whistling shape or through the tunnel. I know it feels a little bit weird, but it's quite a nice cooling breath. So notice that the breath you bring in is cooler and use it to cool the body down. Go for 5 more. And after you've taken those 5 breaths, just easy breath, normal breath. Notice how the body feels. Notice the softness to the expression across the face. And notice the calm in the mind. So notice the stillness. And maybe if it is warm and you've got the windows open or got the doors open, listen to the sounds from outside. You're just slowly letting the sounds from outside, or maybe the sounds from in the rest of the house, pull you back into the present. So pull you away from your practice and just back into the here and now. So feel the mat beneath you, where the shoulders, the elbows touch the mat. Feel where your lower back, your calves, your feet are supported. And then just wriggle your fingers and your toes. Really carefully, gently, just bring one knee in at a time and hug the knees into the chest. Give yourself a big squeeze. And then keep the eyes closed. I don't mind whether you roll onto your right hand side or you can just rock yourself up to a seat, cross the legs, sit nice and tall, and just finish in the same way we started. So feel half of the body weight anchor down.
ground, kind of settle, and then feel half of your body weight lift and energize and pull you nice and tall so that we have a perfect balance of both in the body. And sometimes it tips and we feel flat or a bit heavy, and sometimes we're high as a kite. So find that nice place between the two. And then just bring the hands into prayer heart center. Take a big inhale. Big sigh out. And then just silently, or you can say it out loud, you're just thanking yourself for practice. Just appreciating your efforts, your hard work, especially when it's so nice. I wouldn't have blamed you if you all left me and went out for a walk. But thanks for coming and not leaving me, or not leaving just one or two of us.